Hello everybody, Marvelous Lazy Gamer here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to focus once again on Clubhouse Games for the Nintendo Switch. Now this is going to be my third video in a row I've done about Clubhouse Games, and there's a reason for that. I actually really enjoy this game. When I first heard about it, I was hesitant. I mean, it sounded like fun, a whole bunch of games on your Switch that you could play, great. But when I saw that it had a $40 price tag, I was kind of like, is it worth $40? Maybe 20, but 40. Of course, I'm also a very frugal spender. I don't like spending lots of money. I'm the kind of person who goes to Kohl's and then goes to clearance. And if it's not 60% off, I better really like it. So anyway, I ended up buying the game because I really wanted to do a live stream with it. I'd seen a lot of YouTubers playing it, and I really wanted to try it. I really wanted to do a live stream and see, is this game worth it? So I went ahead and bought it, did the live stream, and I did the live stream with my cousin. We both played on my Switch, and I gotta say, it was a lot of fun, especially when we played some of the games we didn't know how to play. We had so much fun trying to figure out what we were doing. And I think that brings me to my first point as to why I think this game is worth it, and that is learning new games. Now, out of all 51 games, I probably knew maybe half of them. The other half I hadn't even heard of before, and out of the half I had heard of, maybe half of those I actually knew how to play. So ever since I downloaded this game, I've actually been going through and learning how to play some new games. And that was just honestly really amazing. I didn't think I'd be all that interested in learning new games. I tend to stick to what I know and what I like. But I've learned how to play blackjack. I've learned how to play Texas Hold'em. I learned how to play Mancala, I believe is how you pronounce it. That game has become my new favorite. It's so simple, but so fun. So that's one reason I think this game is totally worth it. Another reason is there are so many games. I mean, I knew there were going to be 51 games on here. I knew there were going to be a lot, but honestly, I thought I'd turn it on, get through all the games in like 2 hours, and then be done with it. But I haven't even made it through all 51 games. If you watched my live stream that I did, that live stream went on for about 2 hours, and my cousin and I hit maybe 9 or 10 games. We weren't even close to doing all 51 games. And even now, I've played it a little bit on my own solo, and I'm still not close to hitting all 51 games. So you will get a lot of time out of this game, which is amazing. Thirdly, there are lots of ways to play. So there's single player mode where you can play on your Switch. So if you select single system, you can play with up to 4 players on one Switch. You can play by yourself. And when you play by yourself, most games can be played with a Pro Controller. There are like 4 or 5 games, I believe, where you need the Joy-Con. But that's just because it uses certain motion controls that are best used with the Joy-Con. And honestly, it's so much fun. I love the bowling. If you want to check out my I Make a Bowling Alley video, there'll be a link to that at the end of this video. I used that to bowl better in the game. There's also darts, which I found really fun. I wasn't expecting the darts to be that fun, but I found the darts really fun. I haven't tried any of the other games that you can only use the Joy-Cons for yet, but the 2 that I have, I really enjoyed. There are a couple games that if you're playing only on one system, you're not going to be able to play them. For example, Last Card, which is essentially Uno. If you're playing 2, 3, 4 people on one system, one Switch, you're not going to be able to play that. But that kind of makes sense because you don't want to be able to see other people's cards. What is really great about this game that I had just found out the other day and I thought was such a good idea on Nintendo's part is if you are playing locally with someone, now not on the same system, we're jumping over to local play. If you are playing locally with someone, only one of you needs to have the game. So if, say, I purchased the game and my cousin wants to come play, but she wants to play on her system so that we can play locally and, say, do last card, she only has to download the demo and she can play every single game with me locally. Now, if you download the demo, you can only play, I believe, 4 or 5 games on your system if you're playing just on your own. But if you play locally with someone else who already has the full game, you can play every single game with them. And I thought that was a great idea, especially if you have, young kids at home or something, and you don't want to purchase it for both of them. Then you only have to purchase it for one, download the demo for another, and they can both play together. And I just thought that was an amazing idea. I loved that. And then, of course, there's online. Now, online play you can do with friends. So you have to be friends on your Switch with other people, or you can do just a generalized online play with anybody. Now, the online play with anybody is kind of limited. You can pick up to 3 games you want to play, and then the game will search for another player or players to match you with for one of those games, which is great. That's a lot of fun. You play through the game with someone else. You have the option to replay again with that group or quit playing. What would be really nice, though, is if you could choose who you want to play with if you're not friends with someone. So, for example, if I was at some sort of group activity and we had our Switches and we wanted to play online, and I wasn't friends with everybody, unless we became friends, we wouldn't be guaranteed to play with each other. So that is kind of one negative about the game, but honestly, it's not that big a negative for me. I'm pretty much friends with everybody who I'd want to play this game with, and when you play online, another person would have to have that game anyway, and I don't know how many people have actually purchased this game. So that's a generalized overview of Clubhouse Games. I think it is 100% worth it. I spent so long playing Last Card on that game by myself, trying to beat the CPUs and get all the medals you can get. I spent so long, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So have any of you guys recently purchased the game? What do you think about it? Do you think it's worth the $40 price tag? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all my newest videos. I do a lot of different kinds of videos on here. I enjoy both board and video games, so I'm trying to do a little bit of both. And while everyone's stuck at home during this quarantine, I'm trying to focus mostly on video games and online board games, so you can still play with friends and family. So let me know what you think. Do you have any points or counter arguments about this game? Let me know below. Thank you so much for tuning in and have a great day.